My name is Marika Moreland, and today I want to talk to you about carbohydrates. You've probably heard of them, but what are they? Simply put, they're saccharide groups, saccharide meaning sugar. They can be monosaccharides, disaccharides, or polysaccharides, and this refers to the number of carbon rings found in the structure. This is an example of glucose, which is a monosaccharide. There's 6 carbons, 12 hydrogens, and 6 oxygens, meaning it is a 1-to-1 ratio. In terms of macronutrients, they're just a building block of foods, like this apple. This is a carb. Or these potato chips. These have carbs. In a more simple form, this potato. This has carbs. The things that you eat every day have carbs. You encounter them every day. But how are they actually processed in your body? Well, at the cellular level, your body uses glucose in the Krebs cycle. This is where your mitochondria, which is basically an energy-producing organelle in your body, your mitochondria breaks down the glucose to receive electrons, which powers the electron transport chain. Now, this is a pretty complex cycle, and we're not going to go into detail, but the key point is that your body receives ATP. ATP is basically a package of energy. It's how your body can store it and then use it, ready for you to burn. More complex carbohydrates take longer to digest because they have to be broken down into monomers such as glucose so that they can enter the Krebs cycle. In terms of your body, when you eat a carb, your pancreas produces insulin. Insulin is a hormone which controls the amount of sugar in your bloodstream, and it gives it to cells that need it, or it stores it in your liver when you don't need it. And extra glucose is stored in your muscles as glycogen. So, how are carbs seen in society? You probably think, well, this is silly. This is an apple. How do people view this? Really, our society is scared of carbs. It may seem silly, but our society really is scared of carbs. Think about the popularity of diets such as the Atkins diet or the infamous steak and eggs diet. They restrict carbs like they're the plague. Why? People think that carbs are what make you fat. They think that if you eat X amount of carbs, you're instantly going to just gain weight. Really, this isn't true. You can't gain fat from eating one group or one thing. If you went to McDonald's one time, you probably wouldn't gain fat. If you went to McDonald's over and over and over every day, you probably would. But this isn't because of the number of carbs that you're eating. This is because of the number of calories that you're eating. An excess of calories gives you fat, not carbs. So, for example, people like to use fad diets where they'll cut carbs out for 1 week and they'll instantly lose weight, right? Well, let's go through this. So something interesting that most people might not know is that carbs retain a lot of water. When you eat 1 gram of carbs, you retain 4 grams of water. And so, if we do some math, 1 pound is about 454 grams. And if you cut out 100 grams of carbs from your diet, you multiply 100 by 4, and you cut out 400 grams of water. So, obviously, if you keep cutting out carbs for a while, you will lose some weight, but it's not going to be fat, it's just going to be a term called water weight. So this is why fad diets appeal, because people think if they can instantly lose weight, any kind of weight, that it's good. But really, you're just losing water and becoming less bloated. And then also, if we like to eat about the same amount of food every day. So if we cut out carbs, we're probably going to replace it with some protein or fat. This is okay, right? Well, let's look at the problem. Carbs and protein have 4 calories per gram, but fat has 9. So, if we do some simple math, if you eat 100 grams of carbs, or protein, it's 400 calories. If you eat 100 grams of fat, it's 900 calories. If we find the difference between those two, we take 900 minus 400, and that's 500 excess calories you're eating. If you do this for a week, you're going to gain 3,500 excess calories. So if you've ever heard that 3,500 calories is 1 pound of fat, there's some truth to this. You may not gain 1 pound of fat, but really, if you eat in excess of 3,500 calories per week, you will gain some sort of weight. So in the long run, cutting out carbs may not be a good thing. Also, if you cut out carbs, where's your body going to get energy? So this is a thing called gluconeogenesis. It's a fancy term for your body just finds a way out. You're not giving yourself any carbohydrates or glucose, so it needs to find something else. Well, you're eating protein and fat, right? So there's amino acids and proteins and lipids and fat. So it uses those to get the glucose and to do the Krebs cycle in order to get energy. Problem is, this is a lot of work. So your body, you're putting a lot of stress on your body and you're not getting the energy that you need. So if you were to go for a sprint, you need glucose so that you can just use it right away. Maybe if you were to go on a longer run, you could use something that is stored energy and you have time to break it up. But for everyday use, fat and protein are not a good source because it just takes too much work for your body to do. Your body has a lot of stuff to do. It doesn't want to be breaking down proteins and lipids everywhere. So instead of cutting out carbs to lose weight, what should we do? I think we should exercise, control your calories, and eat a healthy, balanced diet. It's a lot simpler and it's a lot healthier. So the kind and the way that you eat your carbs is key. If you eat too many simple carbohydrates and you don't exercise, you're going to have a lot of extra glucose and a lot of extra energy floating around. So, if you have extra glucose in your bloodstream, you're always going to be producing insulin. If you're always producing insulin, which comes and knocks up on your cells and is like, hey, here's some glucose. But if it keeps knocking on it every single day, 24 hours a day, your cells are going to get pretty sick and tired of it. So this is a term called insulin resistance. It's when your insulin basically cries wolf too much. It's like the boy who cried wolf. Your cells don't really need it anymore. So you always have excess insulin and excess glucose and this leads to high blood sugar. So how do we combat this? We can eat carbs with another macronutrient, which is protein or fat, and this will slow down the digestion of your carbs. So this regulates the amount of glucose going into your body at once, and it makes it a lot easier for your body to handle. Also, eating at your basal metabolic rate, which is a fancy term for the amount of calories you would need if you were in a coma, or just to live, is optimal for weight loss. Because your body is getting the right amount of calories it needs to function, but your total daily energy expenditure, your TDEE, like going and doing the dishes or going on a walk or any exercise that you do, it's going to make it so that you're using slightly more calories than you're consuming. So this way you'll lose weight, but you're not going to just cut out carbs and make your body do all that extra work. So basically, in conclusion, carbs aren't scary. Carbs are something your body needs. You need glucose for energy, and you need energy to survive. So I think we should just be more careful with how we eat our carbs, and we should all understand what carbs really are. They're not the enemy. They just can be if misused. Thank you.